Hello and welcome, and today we're going to do a quick lab. It's going to be part of the Cisco lab. Again, let me pull it up so I can show you exactly what I mean. It's just going to be there we go, let me pull it up. We're just going to build a switch and a router network. And these are the instruction. I believe this is unit 10. And router configuration, and this is the material we'll be going over. If you have it, you can also follow along. I'll also be adding an attachment at the bottom of the video, so you are able to follow along and also recreate the same network topology that we are going to work through today. So to begin with, I'm just going to start building the topology right here. I'm going to grab PCA, PCB, and my switching router. So let's get going and get started. So let's go here, bring our router, and let's grab our switch. And we'll build it exactly as the picture is, so that way it's easier to follow. Now let's grab our end devices. We need one PC here and one PC there. Perfect. And now let's get going with our actual connections. So, and our topology, they actually give us, I closed it, let me go ahead and pull it back up. They actually give us a exact placement for our, I'll say ports for our end devices. So PCA is going to go to the fast Ethernet port 6 on the switch 1, and then from switch 1 you're gonna have another connection going from fast port Ethernet 5 going to the gigabit port and the router 1, the interface 1, and then PCB is going to connect directly to the router through interface 0. Being that it's connecting to the router to interface 0, the connection type is gonna matter because the router is only going to allow crossover. So let's go ahead and connect it right here. So PC fast Ethernet, grab another one. Now this one we're going to connect another crossover, and that's going to go to fast Ethernet 5 on the switch and going to go to gigabit Ethernet 1. And from here we're going to go to PC A. That's going to be PCA. Let me change that right now. PCA and PC, so you know exactly which device I'm referring to. For this one, we're going to need a straight through because it's from the switch to the end device, and we're going to connect this to port 6. Perfect. Now let's get our console going. Also RS-32 console. Same here. Console. Perfect. Now the first steps is for us to log into the devices and make sure they're not configured. We just started, but if you are starting off with any devices, let's no enable, and we're going to erase startup, config, confirm, and delete vlan. Confirm and reload. It is that simple. Now we're going to start off with a fresh environment. That is only if you were using a device that you had already set up and need to erase it. Now let's go ahead and let's wait for this to finish booting up. Once that is finished, what we're going to do is say no again and enable. And the first step on the instruction is to change the name of the router. Okay, let's Let me pull it up so we could see for the router. We're gonna do a third here, and okay, so we have already set up our topology. Verify connectivity. Can't really. I would right in there it says to also check connectivity. Although the devices are connected through wired, they're not configured yet. So if you were trying to ping any of the devices, you wouldn't know what to ping yet. So let's go ahead and configure the IP address for the PCs already. IP configuration. So PCB is going to have this configuration. So it's 192.168.0.3 with the subnet mask of 255.255.255, and the gateway is going to be 192.168.0.1, and IPv6 address is going to be 2001 db8 acad 3/64. And the default gateway for PCB is going to be FE80. Okay, double checking everything real quick. Yep, that looks good. Now let's jump to PCA and do the same thing here. 192.168.1.2, and the subnet mask is the same. Default gateway is going to be 192.168.1.1, and the IPv6 is going to be 2001 db8 acad 1:3, and same subnet mask of 64. Default gateway is FE81. Okay, that is configured. Now if we were to go in the command prompt and try to ping 192.168.0.3, which is the IP address of PCB, we will not be able to see it because these traffic right here have not been configured. The router does not know whether this network exists or this network exists. So now let's jump back to our instruction. Okay, let's jump back to our instruction, and we have here, let's see, where was that? Yeah, so right now we're in this right here. We're going to be able to successfully ping the PCs because it's not configured. So now let's jump into our router configuration, which is right here, and let's begin configuring the router. So first we need to assign a device name to the router. So from there we need to configure terminal. Configure terminal, and we're going to give it a host name, and the host name is also visible in the topology right here. Those are the device names. So host name is going to be host name R1, and our next one is going to be the DNS lookup. So that one, which is going to be no IP domain lookup. Okay, that is done, and now we need to go to the next one, is just to enable class as the privilege exec encrypt password. So we're just going to be enable. We could do enable password or enable secret. The difference between the two is that if enable password is the option that you're deciding to go with, the password will be visible to anyone that opens the network, the router, they are able to see it. It will be in plain text. So to keep it secure, we're just going to enable secret instead. And both of them could be configured at the same time, meaning if I had already originally set up a enable password that was in plain text, if I then write the same command of enable secret and set a different password, you may say, the enable secret does take priority over enable password. So if you set both of them, just know that when you enter the privileged exec mode to after typing enable, it will ask you for the enable secret password, not the enable password. Just something to keep in mind. And now it's going to ask us to go to the Cisco line console. So assign Cisco as the line console. So first we need to go to line console 0 and password is going to be Cisco. Login, and now we can also jump into our line 0 to how many did it says assign Cisco. It did say for the virtual line. Yeah, so we're just gonna do it for 0 to 15. So we're gonna go to 0 to 15. Now we're in line. Although we are saying the same, now we're like virtual line interface, and we have to assign which password. Cisco again, so we're just gonna go password. Sorry, I'm saying a little blurry. Password Cisco. Login, and encrypt the plain text password. So to encrypt all the plain text password, we need to go down to the lowest and a privileged exec mode, and you could do so by just pressing Control C if you're on a Windows computer. I believe it should be the same across any operating system. I believe Mac will just be Command C. So now we need to encrypt all the passwords. So just show running. Like the reason I was referring to, so you see how enable secret password is encrypted. Now if we keep going down further, we should see the password that we set for our virtual LAN right there. See how those both passwords are visibly while we're looking at the config. Anyone that comes to this router will be able to see those passwords. So the reason we want to encrypt the password is so encryption. IAM service password. Encryption. Alright, you just have to be in the configure terminal mode. And the last one we need to also set is a banner. So let's go ahead and set banner. And were we given anything for the banner? Just nothing, so we're just going to say unauthorized. Perfect. And now my contacts is bothering my eyes. So now we need to configure and activate both interface in the router. So to know the interfaces, I'm just gonna move up here so I can see the IP addresses again, and we're going to start with our G0/0/0 interface. And to pick the interface, all we have to do is say interface G0/0/0, and now we're going to configure interface. And first, let's go ahead and do the description. And this one is going to be connection to PCB. .0.0.1 was connection. No, it's PCA. Sorry. PCA. Okay, and now let's go ahead and do our IP configuration. So IP address, that is for IPv4. So we're going to type 192. Just moving it to 192.168.0.1, and the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. And also let's do IPv6 address, and for that one it's going to be 2001 DB8 acad 1/64, and our IPv4. Okay, now let's move to the other. Oh, let me turn it on first. No shutdown. And now let's go to IPv6. No, interface G0/0/1. And now we're basically doing the same thing again, but for the other router, for the other side of the router. And that is going to be description, connection to PC to PCB. Okay, IP address for IPv4. And this one's going to be 192.168.1.1, 255.255.0. And now we could also do IPv6 or IPv because that's the only one that they use in there. And 2001 DB8 acad 1. Okay, /64. Add an exclamation point because that was my hand had the shift button while I was pressing the 1. So now that is good and configured. Let's also do a no shutdown on this one also. No shutdown. And let's do IPv6 unicast routing. Okay, now we have that configured. We also need to, we already enable IPv6. Let's also save our configuration. So now we need to copy running startup config. Yep, we're going to save it to our startup config. Now that is enabled, now we need to do set the clock time. Okay, so clock set what time we have right now? We have 2 p.m. so that'll be 14. Okay, it's 14. That's all I have to put. The minute is 18 right now. Oh, 38, sorry. And second is going to be, and now it is October 18th, 2025. Perfect. Now we have that set. Can we now ping the other device? Let's go ahead and try to ping PCA 192.168.1.3. And we configured both sides, so this one should, let's see, just double check the, you see our IP address was wrong here. This one should be 3. Double check that here also. Now our testing should be successful. There we go. It just had to take a while to configure for a second. I was thinking that something was also wrong. So the reason why it's successful is because the routers are now allowing the traffic from this network to come to this network. Because they're both connected to the router, it knows which what's the next hop to get to the different network. Now we need to configure the switch, and to do so, we're just gonna jump into PCB and go to terminal, because we are we are going to the console interface, and to do so, we're just gonna go ahead and enable and configure terminal. And we need to assign a name to the device. So it's going to be hostname. And the switch one was just switch 1. And we can see that the name has already taken place, and now we need to do the same domain. So no IP domain lookup. And our next is to configure the VLAN. So to bring up the VLAN, we just need to first interface VLAN1. Now we're in config if, and now our VLAN information is that we just have the IP address and a gateway, and our VLAN is at 192, so we're just going IP address 192.168.1.2 and 255.255.255.0. And our gateway is IP default gateway 192.168.1.1. Now we could do a no shutdown to bring the interface up. Why did I IP? Oh. Why did I exit the VLAN 1? No shutdown. Okay, now we also need to save it, so let's go ahead and go to privilege exec, copy, running, startup, yes, and now to test the connectivity, we just have to ping PCA to PCB and S1. So since we're already in a switch, let's go ahead and ping PCB. So PCB is ping 192.168.0.3. And it was a success. Now from PCB and PCA, we already know there's already a connection there, so there's no need for us to do it right now. And tree interface. Okay, so now we need to show our IP route. So from the let's show IP. Oh, we're going to be on the router, sorry. Do it the proper way. Show, run, show, route. And these are IP route. And the C just means connected. L is mean local, as you can see right here. And our second one is to show IPv6 routes now. And the same goes, connected and local, and you can see all the ones that are listed here. And that concludes our lab. I believe you should be able to answer all these questions just by looking at the show router from the interface information. So the other information you need is the show IP interface brief. And this one shows you all the configured interfaces that was configured in the switch. You could also do the same thing for show IPv6 brief, and it will show you the same thing, but for IPv6. I think that should be it. And if you show running config, and it'll just show you the configured, and that should be it. Thank you again for sticking by, and you have yourself a wonderful day, and we'll see you at the next lab. I'll try to keep posting every week from now on, but have a good one.